Today, on this episode of Reality Gays.
Will Kara clip Guillermo's wings?
Will Gino find love with Jazzbot?
And buckle up, Poodle's got a mother poodle story.
Roll it, Christina!
Hello, this is Captain Poodle speaking. Are you ready to find love?
Death ahoy, matey.
Love.
Do-do-do-do.
Exciting and new. Go online. They're catfishing you.
Shocker.
Fiance.
Soon you'll be flying to parts unknown.
90-day Fiance.
Marrying someone you only met on your phone.
Be they French or Chinese, a brand new K1 visa's the key.
Ooh, the key to what, Poodle?
To love.
It's Reality Gays.
Let's love.
Y'all, welcome to Reality Gays. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Poodle, and we are two ridiculous homosexuals who love nothing more than tearing reality television a new one.
Yes, and especially our favorite obsession, TLC's 90 Day Fiance, but right now it's Hey. So, but I just got to the intro because if some of you, especially now that we're on YouTube, if you're looking at part one, you're like, it looked like Poodle was in a pretty forest, pretty dappled light falling. And now it looks like he's in a dark bunker of a serial killer. And I just want to let people
Ruby Ridge!
That means time has passed. We normally do these part 1 and 2s. We do them back to back. But Poodle, how come I had to wait so long for you to start the second half of this show?
I had to wrangle my parents to sit down because they're so ADHD. They went on a gator ride with Muffin.
No. Please explain what a gator ride is to people that.
First of all, this is peak Reality Gays lore, so you already need to know what a gator is.
Yeah.
My parents, mother and father Poodle, have an ATV kind of vehicle where it's like you use it to do kind of work with, but they just enjoy riding on it because their dog, my parents' dog Muffin, enjoys running and barking and running and swimming through water. And she loves running behind it, and they love to go around the property, and it's like their romantic time. I don't question it. I usually don't go because I don't really enjoy riding an ATV vehicle that's very slow.
Why is it called a gator ride?
I don't, because it's called a gator. Like the vehicle's called a gator.
Okay,
so,
got it.
Anyway, they were gone for an hour, and I thought the gator had flipped over on them and killed them both. Because it's usually a half hour. And I was like, okay, I guess I need to know where the will is. And I had dinner. I made dinner, and I was just waiting to fire it till they got back. And I just sat there, had another glass of Chardonnay, actually Pinot Grigio.
Yeah.
Played Wordle on my phone. Waiting because I was making some salmon and some roasted potatoes. The roasted potatoes got done. The broccoli was done. I just was waiting on the salmon because it needs to be eaten when it's warm. And finally, they roll up. After 7:30, they roll up around close to 8:40. And I said, I thought you both had died. And like, oh, we lost track of time.
What if they banged in the woods because you weren't home?
Your father thought there's like a beaver damming the place up there, and he went and tried to like find the beaver. Friend, there's a beaver down there, and I know it. So apparently they were looking for a beaver that may or may not be in the pond. It is the most ADHD thing ever.
And we
my
know
father,
nothing
by the
about
way,
looking for beaver.
is now watching a movie on the Bounce Network, which, if you don't know, it's mostly geared towards Black Americans.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why.
Like boomer Black Americans or
I don't really know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it's because he likes movies that seem halfway interesting, and Bounce has a lot of those.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's almost like movies that you could watch on a plane.
Oh, well, they're advertising right now. Wow, they have RoboCop 1, 2, and 3.
But you can tell it's mostly advertised, I believe, towards more of an African American audience.
No, yeah. Oh, but they show stuff like Jennifer. Oh, Karamo has his show. Tamron Hall, Sherry Shepherd. Okay.
So my father enjoys the Bounce Network in the evenings. He is an 80-year-old white man. Also loves LMN. Don't get me wrong. Lifetime Movie Network. He takes very short attention span. That's why. Oh yeah, he watches them. I don't know why. Wow. Don't ask me the questions I don't know the answers to.
So dinner was fine. Everybody got along. No fights were had.
It was fine. Well, they were talking about. I had dinner with my cousins, which was great. We had a really good time chatting. Right after I came back from my flight. And I met them in downtown.
For you.
And we were exactly. And so they were just talking about people who are married, and not a cousin who was here, but they were talking about people's wives, and my father just went, oh, in my mother's voice, friend, I gotta tell you, blah blah cousin, his wife's a real loser. and my mother, don't say that. That's awful. and she's like, maybe you could say she's not a winner. And then she's like, she could be worse. I don't know how. And I went, and here's how we got here. So many things are clear. And when I
not a winner.
She's not a winner. And my father went, is that any better? I'm telling you. Poof. And I'm like, does anyone want any more salmon? Because I'm going to put it up. When you go home, you are reminded of why you're who you are and the parts of you desperately want to change. And that's where we are. But I don't care, because we're going to talk about this part 2 of I'm about 4 glasses of wine in. So.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Yeah. Okay, then I need to carry the ship. Let's go. It's fine.
Yeah, that always works well.
Yeah, it does usually. Y'all, by the way, after hearing Poodle's story, I just want to remind everybody, use our Rula code for online therapy.
I don't know how much longer we're going to have Rula, but use it for a
okay, I think we want to welcome everyone that's watching us on YouTube. If you're here,
I apologize that it feels like I am, and it is like a horror movie that someone will like jump up behind me and slit my throat on camera.
Yeah, it does look like that.
If you're thinking about that, who knows? Maybe it'll happen.
Well, they aren't, but they are now.
Maybe it'll be like through special effects, and it'll be like blood corn syrup.
That's expensive.
I'll just do it.
We don't have that budget.
Christina, put it in.
I don't think Christina can do that. Christina, please don't. But thank you, if you're watching us, for being our sub. We appreciate it very much.
Subscribing to our YouTube channel.
Yes. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can. That's at RealityGays. Also, you can leave us a review at Apple Podcasts and Spotify. We appreciate that. And you can tell your friends about us, your church members, your people in your Girl Scout group, whoever. Just say, hey, can I tell you about my gays?
If you still hopefully you're a Girl Scout troop leader, because if you're a Girl Scout,
you shouldn't be listening to.
I don't think you should be listening.
No.
Yeah.
If you're a Cub Scout, then you should, because that means you're a closet homosexual, Timmy. If you're listening, but you're still too young to hear this.
Yeah. I was going to say,
even really an Eagle Scout. Really, no Scout should be. We don't condone any Scouts listening to Reality Gays.
Scouts, unless you're a talent scout, and we're available.
We're available, yes.
We do have representation. You'll have to deal with them, but we are available for lots of things.
I do remember I was once
paid flight and lodging.
Paid flight and lodging. Mm-hmm. The rider is quite extensive. I once hooked up with a guy. Well, I didn't hook up with a guy, actually. This was years ago, like before my relationship. So, like,
so why do I care if you didn't hook up with him?
Well, I didn't hook up with him because he showed up to my door, and I thought, it was the first time I was ever going to hook up with an Aussie, with an Australian. I was like, well, we'll see what this is like. Okay. So he comes over, knocks on my door. I open the door. He's wearing a full-on Boy Scout outfit.
Stop.
No, full-on Boy Scout outfit. And I'm like,
did you talk about this?
And at first I didn't and then he came in. I gave him I said, do you want a beer? And he's like, I'll just take water. And I said, okay. And I gave him a water.
Did you list everything you had again in the refrigerator?
Yes, that's what I always
there you go.
do. I'm like, we got a Dr. Pepper, or if you want Dr. Pepper Zero. I got cherries Dr. Pepper Zero.
It gives them time to run away.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. He didn't want to he wanted to stay. And so we sat on the couch, and I'm kind of just like feeling this out. And because there was no talk of it, there was an extensive, I think this was extensive Grindr chat. But then he started talking about, he was like, in his voice, he's like, yeah, do you like my outfit? You want to be my scoutmaster? And started getting into that. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm not into this. You have to leave.
If this was not discussed, this is such a faux pas.
It is not, I promise you, I know I'm not good at this, but it was not just because I'm not into that at all. And then when I finally figured out what he was into, I was like, he was like, do you want to buy any of my popcorn?
Okay.
I'll give it. And I'm like, stop it. It was bad.
I'm going to say this. That's bad role play. If you're talking about buying my popcorn or buying my chocolates.
Yeah. Would you like to buy my world's finest chocolate bar?
No. The role play come-ons here are want to help me start a fire. You need to get behind me. Do you want to sleep in the sleeping bag next to mine?
I don't want to entertain this scout play.
Hey, I'm having a rough time at home.
Stop it.
Hey, I learned something really cool the other day with my penis.
Hey, I got to get a new merit badge in sucking cock.
Thank you. Although that's not really role play either. That's like just going there.
Which is what you do normally.
No, but I would, you got to feel it out, so to speak.
I didn't feel anything out.
I don't think I would have invited him in.
Well, I didn't realize it was
locked the door.
I thought it was just some weird Australian outfit. I was like, maybe that's what they wear in Melbourne. But then apparently, or wherever the fuck he was from.
I'm having a feeling that I'm going to need to dissect more of the story, so we need to move on. Because there had to be something.
This was 11, 12 years ago. So I'm sure.
There had to be something.
There were probably clues that I didn't notice. Because
yeah.
I don't really, especially back then. If y'all think I'm bad at dating now, whoa.
You were just really naive. Not much has changed, but
I was very naive.
Yeah. Let's move on. I'm actually sad. But like what a failure. What an absolute failure of a sexual encounter.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Was he cute? Was he cute regardless?
But he didn't look like his picture as much, no, either. He was cutish. But
He catfished you.
It was never going to work. He was a redhead. I don't. That
Oh,
was the first and last time.
You know what you do? You block him right away.
That's what I do now.
It saves everyone grief.
That's what I do now. If I see
Instantly.
a ginger, I'm like, I don't want that.
I don't know if you want to block them initially, but when they start talking, they start with some awful line, you block them.
Yeah, I agree. Well, used to I was codependent. I didn't want to block them because I didn't want to feel bad. I didn't want them to hate me.
It's through the internet.
I know. Now I'm at that place. Now I don't give a fuck. But we
need to move on. I have so many ideas of how you could have done better at this.
It's like when I try to explain Poodle my codependency, he goes,
I'm like,
he doesn't get it.
I'm
like,
not following because
he's so not
codependent. I understand it because I was with someone who I don't think he was full codependent, but he had a very anxious attachment.
I think more anxious attachment.
Yeah. But and I understood that codependency is very foreign to me.
Yeah. That's all right. Yeah. We learned from each other.
Let's move on.
Speaking of learning, 90 Day UK, y'all, July 13th. Because you're going to learn a lot because these people are crazy.
We're going to be on vacation then, but you're going to get 3 episodes dropped of 90 Day UK. So we're hoping. It's
on Discovery Plus UK.
We always say it's a little
regular Discovery Plus.
It's a little bit more of a not jokey. That's the wrong word.
There's a camp,
but there's a lightness. There's a lightness of tone,
like a British UK kind of tone to it.
And so that'll be those 3 episodes will be dropping, I believe, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Yes. The episodes on Discovery and Discovery UK are actually dropping all on
Sunday.
Sunday night on the 13th.
But we're dropping Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
We'll also be doing a special Daily
Dose. Yep.
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives reunion. Y'all are loving it. One of our most watched things on the YouTube already. So
I'm still thinking about that phone call that they recorded Demi doing. So here's what you're going to say.
Oh,
it was. Oh my God.
Oh, I saw a friend today who's a lesbian, and I said, have you watched Ultimatum Queer Love? And she's like, oh, I just started. She was like, I'm on the 2nd episode. She's like, oh my God, I love Megan. She's so hot. And
you want to say,
wait for it. Just wait for it.
Save your crush.
So anyway,
she'll betray you. She'll betray you by the end. Y'all, if you're only on episode 7, by now you should be further. But because it's required watching for RealityGays. You will know that you're going to be betrayed. We can say it now.
Mm-hmm. You're going to be betrayed.
And it hurts.
It hurts. It actually does hurt. It
hurts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
We have announced we are going on vacation. We will be, I'm going to Iceland the 13th, the 20th. You'll be in P-Town.
Yes, as y'all are listening this week, I'm actually in Bald Head Island with Mary Payne and Ingrid. So we're
a lot of Chardonnay is going to be drunk. I'm telling you now.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of white wine. It's it's going to be, I hope I can meet people on the island. Like maybe it remind me of my Santa Barbara days. Hopefully there's a Buffy, a Jennifer.
Everyone's over 60, so it's perfect for you.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Mary Payne already said, no tank tops, no cut off shirts. She was very forceful about it.
I'm trying to think where you would wear a cut off shirt.
Well, I mean, I'd like the sleeves cut off. I'll wear that. But like in Provincetown, I won't wear that in Bald Head.
Boy. You just cut off a shirt and you'll wear it around?
I'll wear like like in the summer, like a tank top or like a shirt that's cut.
That's different than I'm saying you didn't cut off the sleeves yourselves.
Yeah, I've done that.
And worn it in a place like Provincetown?
Well, yeah, Provincetown, you don't care. Everybody does that.
Well, but there's a certain...
It's like a beach town. I won't wear it to dinner.
Okay.
I'm like
That's
going
different.
around the day. Yeah.
Okay, that's different. Yeah.
No, I'd never wear that. No, that's why
But remember, you're in Provincetown, so everywhere is somewhere to be seen.
Yeah, but no one sees you in the dark room.
That's true.
All right, let's move on. Did we ever figure out why is this called Welcome to the Party, pal?
Because they're going to a party. It's the Miami party.
This is a clunky naming
who
system.
Said
I don't
party. Who called someone pal? Again, I don't think I've
called someone
ever called anyone pal.
No, we had a long talk about this.
You're right. It's over.
No,
pal is so over.
Pal is so over. Let me put in my little lozenge. My voice gets trashed doing Darcy.
Let's start with Kara and Guillermo. And then we're going to move on to the kind of juggernaut that is Jasmine and Matt and Gino and Natalie and Jasmine too.
Jasmine too. Y'all, it's Jasmine too.
We need a different word than Jasmine 2.0. It needs to be like, I don't know. It needs to be like
Jazzbot.
Yeah, or something like that. Jazzbot, yeah. Boy, it feels like he could have found someone who wanted less to be on television.
Boy.
It's kind of painful.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen anyone more thirsty to be on television who gets on 90 Day than that woman Mariah who was with Tom, the former the guy who was with Darcy. Remember her?
Oh God.
The thirstiest thirster who ever thirsted.
Tom was thirsty too. Although he loved us, he thought we were funny.
But, and that's all that matters. We'll love you forever.
We'll love you forever.
Kara and Guillermo, y'all, I'm going to say this now. They are headed for divorce. Ain't no way. Well,
we already know. Aren't they separated? We watched on Diaries.
They weren't officially separated.
I think it's speculated because they've deleted each other off each other's social media, and all the posts are like Guillermo with their kid, just him, no Kara.
Y'all, this is DOA.
It's not good.
You know here's how you know. Their goals have been so out of alignment for what they want.
And you know what? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were.
No, he is just still in finding who he is.
It's interesting you say that because I kind of don't fault him for it because
I don't either.
I forgot he's 26.
He's 26 years old and she's 32.
32. You can do that reversed. You can do that with a man who's
32 and a woman who's 26.
Y'all, you can't, if you're in your 30s, you listen to me now.
Please hear this. Please hear this, all women out there in their 30s.
We just talked about Charlize Theron. Fucked a 25-year-old.
Which is fine.
That's what they're good for. If you're a woman in your 30s, you cannot expect a man in his 20s to ever want to be the adult that you require as a woman in your 30s.
You got no business with no 24-year-old man.
Business. It, as Chelsea Marr, my father would say, ain't happening, Matthew. It ain't happening.
And remember, they've been married for 3 years.
30 years?
And it's different because she was 29. He was 23 years old. I'll just leave that there.
They got married and then got pregnant, right? Yeah, I don't think
like 7 months later she was pregnant.
Yeah.
But no, it's become so stark now because you saw it in their season because she kind of already was becoming like his mom.
Yeah.
And y'all, obviously he thought it was a work trip, but for Kara, it was kind of a bang trip too.
Mm-hmm.
And so they met in the DR. And I feel like the DR is just cursed for when people are meeting there.
Well, it's not great. No.
Yeah, I just
and he's originally from Venezuela, and you should know
but
that
yeah.
he fled Venezuela, right?
I
He
think
talked
that was
about
Daniel.
Are you
Daniel
sure?
fled Venezuela because he was shot. His brother was shot.
Was Daniel?
But a lot of people fled Venezuela because the unrest there, the political issues and the government. Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm. So, yes, thank you. That was Daniel. I just saw Daniel and Amber just the other day, or on there. They look so
You saw them on Instagram, Parasocial. Yes.
Yeah, but we're friends.
I know. I'm just clarifying.
I want to hold that baby. Anyway,
they live in Charlottesville, and as Guillermo says, that's where we live. Beautiful life. And y'all, Kara can't even. This is the thing. I don't know if I fault her. She's got a hardness to her that she's always kind of had. But she's like, don't sound so excited. But she is soured. She has soured on the whole thing.
She's just,
and
I
y'all,
think she's exhausted too.
You don't come back from souring.
No, I think, she's sick and tired and done. And
yep.
It's that said, and I still stand by this. Best makeup in 90 Day Fiance universe.
Totally.
That girl can beat her face. She
knows looks.
In her hair.
And she's talented. She's a great singer.
She's a great singer. I think that, you know what I think too? I would be interested to know if, I don't think they planned on having a baby. I think they got pregnant. And so Guillermo seems like he's an active father, but especially when you're a mother.
Nico is their child, who is adorable.
Adorable, with like Kara's hair and his eyes. But I think too, she probably, before this, remember, she was doing this kind of like digital nomad life and traveling a lot.
And she made balloons.
And they were beautiful, but it terrified you.
I'm not going to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like.
I know you have a phobia of balloons.
She's a terrorist.
Y'all,
it's a balloon terrorist.
Y'all, Poodle can't
You don't know if they're going to pop.
I know it doesn't bother me. I thought she did gorgeous arrangements, but
I'm not the one to ask about this.
No, but I'm just saying that I think also too, she's like, okay, well, this is my life now, and this isn't the life I intended. So
what? You know what I would ask her? What
I have a lot of questions.
Is the life you intended?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did you think through sheer will you could give this guy this? Now she is driven. There is no doubt.
Oh yeah, really ambitious.
Could you kind of imbue this man? When you met him, actually you met him. He was probably even younger because they've been married for 3 years. He's 26, so you probably met him at 22.
Mm-hmm.
Could you give this 22-year-old man a drive to this American drive to make money for your family? And the thing is, what she's talking about, y'all, the big conflict is he wants to be a pilot. We saw that in Diaries. He loves it. His father used to repair helicopters, and so he's obsessed. That sparks him. That is his dream.
I think it's a great career
fly
to
a plane.
Go for. Yeah,
but at this point in their lives, she's the breadwinner. She's a realtor. She's almost had to, quote, I think, kind of grow up since they had a kid.
That's what I mean.
She has to support them. She is salty about that, and I can't fault her for it. So this is a question of two people kind of finding each other, in my opinion, at the wrong time in life.
Timing is everything. And remember, Guillermo, if memory serves me correct, which normally doesn't happen.
It doesn't.
But I do remember not just her, he's maybe not as driven, but they are both equally stubborn. I remember him being really stubborn.
Also, he is so hot this season. Holy God.
Okay.
And he's always shirtless on social media.
Okay.
I'd beg for it.
You look a lot, do you? Yeah.
Maybe. So he's driving around with the pilot, and Kara says, well, you know what, honestly, I'd love for you to pilot and find something you're passionate about. There's always a but the things that I'm worried about is time, being able to work on their job while going to school, and the money aspect, unless you have $60,000 sitting around. So y'all, I can see her point. I totally see every single point she's making.
Yeah.
The delivery isn't always the best.
Delivery is just, it's not. She talks down to him like he's a child.
When you address someone's hopes and dreams with sarcasm,
oh man,
that hurts.
It really
regardless
hurts.
Regardless of how ridiculous you think they are, that hurts. That hurts the other person, and that breeds resentment. Y'all, he is resentful of her, and she is soured. I'm telling you,
not a great way to talk to someone you love.
No, you don't come back from souring.
No,
and we are there
because
that's
you're you're souring. And that's maybe a nice, but what's underneath that? She's angry.
Yeah, it's just that when I say sour, I mean the thought of him gives her the ick.
Yeah.
And I'm saying you don't come back from it.
No, you don't.
It would be easier to murder him than to actually get back together with him. That's where we are.
And they say things like, and honestly too, we've talked a lot actually, just in this conversation, we've really covered kind of the first part of the plot line. But when she's talking about being the realtor and all that, and she says, well, but this is Guillermo, and I do remember this. He won't think things through. He's emotional.
Totally agree.
He's right brain, she's left brain. And so y'all, he went up and quit his job instead of
as being at a restaurant that had health benefits.
She said, I think their health benefit, because she is an independent contractor. So this is their child. He just quit the job. She didn't think it was the right time.
Yeah.
She's like, and I do agree with her. Look, if you want to go to school, it's going to be a lot, but you need to work and go to school at the same time. And I would think a restaurant job would be great because you can work at night and go to school in the day.
I agree. And I'm going to reiterate. I don't disagree with anything she's saying here.
No, it's the delivery is not great.
It's the delivery, and it is the refusal to communicate what either of them really wants. He's open with it, and she is not wanting to squash his dream, but at the same time, he's not open about how much he really wants something.
Yeah, that's true.
And
so that brings back that mom-child dynamic.
Yeah,
it's like there's a part of him that's scared to tell her, and also too when we talk a lot, or women talk a lot about, oh God, I have to baby talk a man because I can't be direct because then I'm a bitch. This is a different thing. I totally understand that. I've seen it. I think this is a little bit of a different thing. This is more about. They both have played these roles of kind of mom, son. So there's like this, sorry, this is really psychology nerdy, but there is this undercurrent, this kind of the subconscious is basically saying is mommy's mad at me. Mommy's yelling at me. And that triggers him, and Guillermo doesn't know that even. Because when he says,
you don't want to fuck your mom.
No.
You shouldn't anyway.
You shouldn't.
I know that's a brave stance, but that's a RealityGays stance.
That's a RealityGays stance.
You shouldn't want to fuck your mom.
Or your father, for that matter. If you say
no,
yes
you're right.
to this, thank you. Okay.
I was trying to think about the gay porn things I've seen.
Nope. I didn't say daddy, but I said your father.
Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm on board now.
Okay. Even Guillermo says, well, if her voice goes up a ton, then I know she wants to fight. So I'm like, let's just fight. So now they don't say. Now they both. What is the problem? Is now they both have let go of feeling like they can make the other person feel better.
Yes,
and
that's what I'm talking about.
Wanting to make them feel better,
y'all. I'm telling you, we are going to watch this crumble. Piece by piece, get the fuck ready. This is going to be worse than Marriage Story.
Wow.
And with less Broadway singing. I don't know, Kara's involved, so who knows?
She could sing. They go to bed. This was a great edit. It got me. They go to bed and they just go in separate rooms.
And I went, they're fucked.
Yeah, especially this young. You're 32 and 26. Oh, you're golly. Guillermo would have fucking knot hole in a tree right now. Some squirrel's just hoarding nuts, and suddenly a dick's in there just spooging all over him. He's going, trying to gather up his chestnuts, and now he's
there's jizz coming in my face.
They are in Virginia.
There's jizz coming in my nut hole. Oh my God! Salad maid, grab the Christmas chestnuts. We gotta move. Button down the hatches. There's jizz on my house. Ain't no squirrel insurance.
So sorry. I just had a conversation about insurance with my family at dinner as well. So it's always fun.
Did you tell them that we get health insurance through our podcast?
They're aware.
Podcast, so they're not.
They were talking about someone else's health insurance.
Oh, okay, great.
But they're both saying this is not how I anticipated marriage. And we also, I was like, well, maybe if they go to therapy. Kara went, yeah, we went to one therapy session, but after some things that were said there, I left more brokenhearted and angry. And I went, okay.
And she's crying. As soon as I'm surprised by that, because I thought usually, I just assumed Guillermo being a man, being where he's from, machismo, and I was like, oh, good luck. But when she said that, I went, you're the one that backed out of therapy. And that makes sense, though, because she likes control, and it's probably hard for her to admit.
And it's hard for her to hear some things.
Look, to heal a relationship like this, you both have to come in with the idea of, I'm going to put skin in the game, and I'm going to compromise, and I'm going to admit what I've done, that whether you use the word wrong or hurtful, and I'm going to take responsibility for some shitty things.
Totally.
Kara doesn't want to do that. She's done.
And I totally agree with you. And I remember their first season. They've only had one other season before this. I don't think they've ever done a happily ever after.
Were they regular 90 Day or were they before?
They were 90 Day.
They were 90 Day. Yeah.
And we were thought they were going to be on. We thought they were going to be on happily ever after. Turned out no. They did Diaries, which is usually a prefigure.
We thought they would be stars because they've
done Pillow Talk.
They both have such star quality, and they're funny. And they've
done Pillow Talk. They're not like first tier. They're definitely second tier in the 90 Day universe. They're not like Lauren and Alexi. They're not like sadly they're not like fucking Big Ed or Angela.
No.
But like they're on their Pillow Talk. Yeah.
I think
the other thing I thought is think about how kind of, and I remember if you think back to their 90 Day season, how kind of cavalier she was at showing kind of negative things about herself. She was okay with doing that on camera. Y'all buckle the fuck up, because this is gonna get mean for both people.
I think why this is actually going to be a triggering and hard watch for people.
It's going to be. I'm calling it now,
because at the end of the day, like the little bit that we know about them, they both seem like two people that came into something with good intentions, who really loved each other and just thought they were doing the best thing. What happens to most of us in relationships? Two decent people that then just break apart. And then as you're breaking apart, it brings out the worst in you in a person you never thought you could become.
Yes. And
several people just started sobbing and drove off the road. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but that's what it's going to be.
I'm saying this now too. There's a big change that happens when someone turns 30. And if they're married to a much younger person, especially if it's a woman married to a younger guy, you need to drag them with you across the line.
You can only date. Yes, you can only marry like a guy in his mid to late 20s if it's something like he got kicked out of his house when he was like 10 and he's been on his own for 20 years. And even then, it's still not a good choice.
Y'all, the maturity level is like 8 to 10 years difference. Because you will find a 30-year-old man has the maturity level of a 22-year-old woman.
Because honestly, when I see them both individually, they're both probably right where they need to be emotionally,
Yeah.
as far as age-wise, but then you factor in the
I'm
kid.
telling you,
Yeah.
get ready because it's going to get mean for both of them.
Let's move on though to before we move on, actually, we're going to talk about an equally happy, joyous couple named Gino and Jasmine next. But before that, I feel like, is it time?
Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-bum-bum. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-bum-bum. Church. Bustles.
We can't play the music anymore because we're on YouTube and Poodle's pissed about it. So now you have to listen to us sing it.
It's not good. It's not the same. I can't sound like a string instrument.
No. Yeah.
And I need to be able to go, church, over it. Mrs. Astor.
I know.
Who we saw this season, Donna Murphy.
Yes, we did. We did see her. She's it's second episode. I think this episode, by the time when you're listening to this episode, the third episode would have already dropped. So
we do it like a week behind because we can't do it on Monday.
That's why we don't spoil you. That's it. That's why we do it.
Is that it? But y'all, we saw Mrs. Astor and the whole thing with Kelly O'Hara and her gay husband who brought his mistress.
When he brought the mistress in, I gasped.
And did you see Donna Murphy, a.k.a. Mrs. Astor, go, I think it's time for my leave. Because she knew she didn't want to be no party to no bullshit like that.
She did.
And that just tells y'all Kelly O'Hara's going to have a hard time this season.
I know we don't know him, but I was so nervous when that little twink boyfriend of that daughter walked up and I thought
Billy?
he was going to go talk to Daddy Spector.
Oh, no. He was
and
just
then
going to...
he chickened right out.
He got scared of Railroad Daddy's big dick.
Yep. That's not for you then, Melissa or Carrie or whatever her name is. Gertrude.
Melissa?
Gladys. What it is.
There's no Melissa in the Gilded Age.
There's a Jessica.
Even that. There's a Bertha.
A Jennifer.
There's a Gladys. There's a Marion.
Marion, yes. There's
ain't no Melissa.
Can you imagine one day when someone does? Because hell, at this point, we're headed for another fucking Gilded Age with all these billionaires that own the money, and
but not in a good way.
Not in a good way, no. And would they
ain't no daddy railroads coming up there's no Jeff Bezos ain't no daddy railroad.
No,
let's just say that
he is not. What is there though? If they let's imagine it's the year I'm sorry. I'm pretending the world's still going to be alive then, or the humans will be on it. But let's just say it's the year 3000. Yeah. And let's say they go to make a show.
In the year 3000.
And let's say they go to make a show about the 2020s. The 2020s. And can you imagine
no one's going to want to do it.
Well, imagine they're going to show someone. They're like, this is my son, Bryler. And Braxton.
Bryler. And where's the flight of stairs? Where's the flight of stairs? I need to throw myself down it instantly.
This is Bradley, and that's Mackenzie. Can you imagine the names they're going to have to use in the year 3000?
We need to perish before then.
The human race needs to be gone by then.
We don't deserve it.
The naming council agrees we don't deserve it.
No, just end it all. Y'all, we get a great... Now, it looks like Peggy's going to survive.
I think she's going to bone this doctor, right?
Okay.
That's what I think.
Do you know who this is? That's Jordan Donica. He was in the Camelot revival as Lancelot.
Oh, I wanted to go see that.
He was in Hamilton. I know him because my student dated him.
Oh,
and
God.
She told me all kinds of stories about him.
He looks like he's freaky deaky.
She said he was actually kind of boring.
Wow.
Yeah, that's generally your vibe about people. Anyway, Jordan Donica is real hot. I have to say.
He sings
So,
real well too.
I'm just happy he's not married because it seems like Peggy is always getting involved with guys who are married.
Yeah, and she didn't die.
And I've got to say, y'all, veteran character actor Bill Camp playing J.P. Morgan.
Oh, I don't know.
They're
Bill
in like
Camp,
a, but
I know
Bill Camp,
J.P. Morgan.
he was the guy. Bill Camp is kind of like sweaty, mustachioed, walrus-like man.
They did makeup. No, but he had makeup. It didn't look like him in there. Because when I see a picture of him, I'm like, oh, Bill Camp.
Veteran, beloved character actor, gruff character actor Bill Camp as J.P. Morgan.
Right? Yeah, I think
he's been on everything cop-wise.
Oh, he's on Sirens. I need to watch that show.
Anyway.
Also, gay boyfriend's back, giving money.
Okay.
This isn't going to end well.
If they're just going to play slap and tickle from across the room, I'm not interested. I need more shots of them in bed together, or I'm not happy.
This isn't that type of show. They don't show men.
No, they did. They were in bed together once.
But they don't even really show a lot of men and women together in bed unless it's Daddy Railroad and Mama Railroad.
I don't care. Okay. We need this because I didn't get Gilded Age during Pride Month. So I need more Gilded Age, mustachioed, preening, homosexual sex.
Maybe... Do they have any Gilded Age porn for you on
Yeah, but it's not good. I've searched it out.
Maybe you should make it. You would be a great porn director. I think really
you're not wrong.
You would be like Louis B. Mayer, just grueling to people.
Louis B. Mayer.
You give them uppers and downers. You say, keep fucking.
We're
losing daylight.
My dear, your cock is spectacular, but your performance is sub-rate. More jism, please.
I need your religious angst on your face when you come.
And I have one of those big like megaphone things that I'm screaming into with riding boots like directors used to wear.
Yes.
Fuck him now, please. Yes.
I need more vigor on the fisty.
Act like you like receiving fistature.
What other podcast, ladies and gentlemen? I am so sad that this woman probably is going to listen to this show. I went to see a play it was fantastic, actually. I went to see The Reservoir.
I've heard good things. The only problem someone said is it's a play that's been done before. So it's one of those you reconnect yourself to your grandparents. That's actually been done. But
I get that, but I don't know. Has it been done through a queer lens? The main character is gay.
I'm just going to say this now, though. I don't know if you know this. The writer literally lived that story.
No, he did.
So yeah,
I don't see anything wrong with that. Live your truth. I mean,
no, you're right. But I've heard good things about it, and it'll be gone before I get back in town. But
it was fantastic. But I was sitting by this woman, and this woman and her daughter's name was Katie, and I forget the woman's name, but they were together, and her daughter owns actually the French restaurant in the farmer's market, the really good one. You know that little French cafe? That she owns that. So she's the owner. Anyway, but we're sitting there talking because I love going to the theater by myself. I made good friends going to the theater by myself. But this woman, she asked what I did, and I told her. And of course, people are asking questions, and I said, "Oh, we talk about reality TV." And then she said, "Oh my God, my mother loves reality TV. And she loves podcasts. I can't wait to tell her about this. She's gonna listen." And I just thought, she said, her mother's a 96-year-old broad, and she said, she'll love this. And I said, well, we're filthy. And she said, oh, my mom will love it even more. And I thought, if anybody could get who actually was alive during the time of Louis B. Mayer and gets that joke. It's that woman. So I hope she's listening.
So you need to jizz in his butt because you're on contract.
Mm-hmm. And she knows, and they're from LA, and she had friends that probably worked with him.
Otherwise, I'll call the mob.
So when we make obscure old references on this show, y'all, and you're going, you guys, no one fucking gets this. Au contraire.
Yeah. I do have to say my favorite line last week, maybe I mentioned it, was Victoria Clark saying, I'll have you know that my great-great-grandfather was a signer of the Declaration of Independence.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
what
Carrie
I live
Coon
for.
Didn't give a shit.
And she went, how does that figure for my standing? Y'all, and Bertha Russell says she's going to disinherit Gladys. Anyway, so
This gonna be a fight with her and Daddy
this
Railroad.
episode was better. There's a theory being floated around, and the theory is someone one sissy talked to me, and I've heard it from someone else. They think that the Duke, aka Hector, is going to come back and hear rumors about Daddy Railroad not having a fortune because of everything going on, and then decide he doesn't want to marry Gladys. Can you imagine what that's going to do to Bertha?
She's going to be beside herself.
Which I'm all for. Also, can I just say, Christine Baranski and Audrey McDonald across from each other needs to happen a lot because they're just like reenacting good fight stuff.
Yeah.
Love it.
You can just tell that they have you can tell
yes,
they have the chemistry of it.
Yep. And that has been your Gilded Age Corner. Church.
There we go. We really should have.
It's not the same as talking over it.
I really want to command. You're traveling now, but if we continue this Gilded Age Corner, I really think you need a wig.
If I can be not at home, I'm not gonna bring my wig. I did bring it for Cameo one time because I was getting paid.
And what did your mother say about when she saw you in a wig doing the Cameo?
It wasn't my father went. I packed it, and my father came down. He's like, "What's that, friend?" And I said, "Well, people pay me to do these videos where I do characters." And he went, "Oh, okay."
It sounds like porn.
And he just didn't ask, but he just looked at the wig on there. He's like, "What's that?" It's like, "Oh, okay." They've just stopped asking.
You can take this out if you want, but I'll never forget when you were in the hospital and your parents came over and they saw a picture of us dressed as women in cabaret, and your dad looked right at me and said, "Friend, is my son a transvestite?"
It's true. He didn't know.
Not an appropriate word now, but he didn't know. That's old. Yeah. So, anyway.
He didn't know.
He didn't know.
Let's move on to Gino and Jasmine. Okay. I'm going to say this now.
How mighty they fallen than the two people we met in Detroit.
I know. Totally. I'm going to say this now, y'all. I know you don't want to watch Gino. We're not going to watch him with a good viewpoint. So you don't have to worry about that. You need to start thinking about him being on the single life because it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
And so here's what you need to be okay with. They are going to be trolling him nonstop. So know that it's not going to be a hero edit is what you're going to. He's never gotten a hero edit.
Mm-hmm.
Only when Jasmine built him up did he kind of get that. He didn't get it on Last Resort either.
Mm-hmm.
So know that production is going to use a lens that's going to make him look foolish.
He always plays the bumbling kind of
boyfriend. He did until Jasmine. The magic of Jasmine kind of brought him up to a level. However, Jasmine, we're going to see, has her own issues separate from Gino.
Mm-hmm.
And it really comes through when she's with Matt. And you can see that Matt man, I really thought that I could just bang this chick and she didn't have to live with me, and like all her clothes are all over the
I
place.
don't get a good vibe from him.
He's not going to want to hang around. Well,
He
he's unfortunately her baby's father.
Well, and now as we know, at least the little bit we know from the tell-all, and they actually show the tell-all. They show her coming out and she's pregnant with someone else's baby. And then we see, which we've never had this done before on Hey, we see 7 months earlier. But
right.
We think they're together. I think they're together more now as a couple, but he just seems like some guy that's going to cheat on her.
I can't really take a temperature yet. I think he knows that he is part of her social media barrage. Mm-hmm. And I honestly don't know what's going on. I think we're left with a lot of questions. I think it's obvious that Gino is going to date lots of girls and that Natalie isn't it. Natalie, sadly, is a pawn for Jasmine's anger.
Yeah.
Which we've already seen clips of. The whore from Vegas is here. You know, that's what Jasmine likes to throw around.
So they did this great. Jasmine's at the airport, and you think that, she's picking up somebody, and then we see Gino at an airport, and he's landing, and it looks like they're together. No, we see him hug
Jazzbot.
That's what we're calling her,
AKA Natalie, who really
Natalie.
Doesn't have any personality besides wanting to be on television.
Basically.
Did you even get it where she said, do you sense any chemistry?
No.
Besides, she's like, all my boyfriends have been bald. I'm like, me too.
That's fair. Me too.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
But yours for different reasons. Mine because they were old and infirm.
Mine just buzzed his head. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. So Gino says, I'm finally acting out on my version of the open marriage. Remember, y'all, the story of why their marriage was why they went to last resort is Gino stopped wanting to have sex with her. His version was, we are fighting all the time, and I can't have sex with someone who is just angry and fighting at me and mean to me all the time, which translates to, I need a woman who is not, quote, a nagger, or I need a woman who tries to please me incessantly. That's not Jasmine.
No.
And
no.
So,
Last Resort was good for them in that it was enlightening to us that even, especially like Reba and Heidi really called Gino out on his behavior and how he weaponized the lack of sex kind of as a punishment to Jasmine. I agree with that.
I don't think people can now think, actually, the fandom is really
people are
divided.
Split on Jasmine. People are split.
I think most people are not split on Gino. Most people think that Gino is still in some ways worse than Jasmine.
People have a lot of problems with Jasmine. Y'all,
that's true.
They have problems with, her mothering because she has children back in Panama. And
I think if you just base it on Gino's performance on The Last Resort, I think you can read between the lines.
Yeah.
And was Jasmine ridiculous for wanting an open marriage? Yes.
I think, but I can speak this from witnessing it with my other friends and experiencing it myself. The insane things you will work through in your head if you think it's going to actually help.
Yep.
And I do look back on this, and I think Jasmine actually thought on some level this was like her Hail Mary.
Yeah. No, it's magical thinking. It's total magical thinking. Do you think Jasmine, is it for the camera, or does Jasmine still love Gino?
I think she really does love him.
I'm kind of there. I
think
feel
Jasmine has
like
bad relationships with men, and she's
I
used
know.
to men
Here-
treating her like shit. So that feels loving to her.
I get that. I feel like on the last resort it was real, but there's something about this. It felt like an afterthought.
Okay, that's fair.
I think she might still love him, but I think she's playing it. In other words, I don't know. So, like, basically, Gino's saying that the only way I would agree to an open marriage is we had a lot of rules. He says that she broke every rule. Jasmine disputes that. I wasn't really sure. Jasmine says that she was late on her time, on her curfew, and then Gino kicked her out.
So Gino said that she was late for the curfew and kicked him out. Jasmine says no, she can have sex with Matt for 2 hours at a time, and she said they were going to work out at the gym before, and then they were going to smash afterwards. Well, Gino thought they were fucking for 4 hours.
I see.
So he got pissed.
Got it. Okay. So y'all, the basis of this is both of them think they can have their own sexual needs met. I do not believe Gino is going to be able to physically have sex with this woman.
You don't?
I do not believe that.
Oh, I believe probably he'll take a little pill and be able to do it.
Yeah, but it won't be pleasurable for him. And it will be, I'm just saying, this is not going to last long.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to have a relationship physically with another woman without the help, because he cannot be vulnerable enough. He has such...
No, he can't. That's why he dates cam girls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's his history, y'all. That's how he met Jasmine. And so, that he's... And
which I think both of them still deny.
I thought they did. Well, I don't remember, but I thought they did.
Yeah.
But Jasmine, though, talked about his porn addiction. And I believe everything Jasmine said. I really do.
Me too.
I think that he did have a porn addiction. And I think what happens with a porn addiction like that, it does affect actual vulnerability with other people and what you can do.
It also affects all of your circuitry.
Yeah, because if you're watching porn 24/7, suddenly then, like, you're in a relationship, you can't orgasm unless you get hit in the side of the hip with the 57 Chevy at 65 miles an hour.
What's your point? You just get the person who's coming over to do that. You just leave them a very detailed list, an ordered list of things they need to do. And if they don't complete it, they get sent down the shaft. What's hard to understand?
You know what? You're right. So clear.
Thank you.
Thank you. Continue.
Matt has in 37, he's 37. He has never been in a committed relationship. He is a car salesman. Boop, boop, the car salesman part is the one that threw me.
Oh, for me, it's the 37 years old.
No. I agree.
Relationship.
I agree. Yeah.
You guys, this guy is a fuck boy.
I think he has no idea what he's in for.
No idea.
He also, you can tell he doesn't really know what to do on camera.
He doesn't know what to do on camera. And I think it feels a little weird is that Jasmine can't be her full self around him. She could around Gino. She can't around him.
Agree.
Jasmine's weird. Jasmine's quirky.
She is so
Jasmine's
weird.
Like introvert, nerdy. She's all these things. She is not this, like, when we met them, she is not this big, effusive, like, hey, how you doing?
She is an introvert. Gino is the extrovert.
Gino is the charming one that really engaging.
And the crazy thing is, Gino does not read that way on any version of 90 Day that we've ever seen.
Differently. They both read differently.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be Gino could be on the single life and he could make it entertaining.
No,
I don't know.
He is going to do the single life.
Yeah,
I promise you.
No, I think so too. But Jasmine, I don't know how well she would do on The Single Life.
She won't do well.
I think it wouldn't be a great look for her.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Which it looks like she's going to stay with Matt since they have a baby now.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem.
They do have a baby.
Y'all, a baby ruins everything. You know.
Wow.
You all know.
Yeah.
Unless you actually wanted a baby, which I don't understand it, but some of you have mentioned to me that you want babies. I guess we need them. We're in Vegas. There's this kind of thing with it. Natalie picks him up, and you can tell, y'all, she's already kind of put off. I don't think she's into him at all. He keeps saying, "You look hot." And they're in this kind of ice room, I guess. And he's like, it's like being in Antarctica.
Well, he can do it, remember, because he's 55 years young. You love that.
He's 55 years young. Oh, kill me. She says, I've been divorced twice, but every guy since then I was in a toxic relationship. And I was like,
oh boy.
And then she said, Gino really wasn't a macho man, so it seemed a lot more safe. This is a friendship.
This isn't what Paris Hilton, when she said last week, marry the nerd. There was a big meme where Paris Hilton was about she's like, forget the hot guys, go for the nerds. That's where it's at.
This is not that.
This is not that, Natalie.
So then they're taking titty shots, and the thing is,
explain this. There's a piece of ice sculptured in the shape of tits, so they're not. Because it made it sound like Natalie was doing shots off of her tits.
Here's the issue: there's a tube coming out of the tits, so you're not actually sucking on a nipple.
I thought it was false advertising as well.
I need someone to suck on a nipple and get a shot.
Yeah, well, they probably do that because it's more hygienic for people to suck on the tube so they don't have to keep sucking on the ice.
Well, I'm not into it.
Okay.
If I can't suck on a nipple and get buzzed, I'm not interested.
I agree. I'd love for to have a little dick shot where you just suck on the end of a dick. Just
that turned my stomach. Just it wasn't the thing, it was the kissing noises.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how I'd be like, that's how I take my shot.
Kissy face. That reminds me of, stop doing that. I'm really grossed out. That reminds me of Alina and the mom who used to run around and kiss each other on Smothered.
Lick your face, y'all, because if you love your mother,
driving down the face. Lick her face, driving because she's riding the highway and just kissing her mom on the mouth.
Don't turn back because you're scared of driving.
She doesn't have a license.
God, I miss Mother.
And ironically, the song was about driving down the highway, and she couldn't drive.
She couldn't drive, and she was scared to.
And she was a little person. Speaking of being a little person, we have a little person on Night UK.
We do.
Anyway, Gino is saying things like, she makes me hot and sweaty inside. It's nice that you're not yelling at me and telling me what a piece of shit I am.
That's the shit I am.
I'm going to say this now. That's also a kink for Gino. But it's not a sexual kink. It's some type of thing that he needs to have a relationship with.
Well, he likes that, but when it comes down to it, Gino wants to almost emotionally be controlled, but financially, everything else, he wants to be the person in charge of everything. Y'all don't forget. Gino was supposed to fight. The reason a lot of people come at Jasmine that her kids are still in Panama and
Panama,
and they're not here. Gino is the one who was supposed to do that paperwork.
Who did not file
who didn't want to hire an
for the children
because he was fucking cheap. So you can call Jasmine a bad mother, but she's not the one that could bring them to this country. It was solely Gino's job.
I'm going to say this now.
He fucked her, and he did it to control her.
I think we only know 60% of this story.
I think there's full-on emotional abuse and neglect in their relationship.
Totally.
I believe
totally. And I think I think
Because you're right. Gino's never going to be vulnerable or emotional with anyone because he can't.
Right. So there's a little bit of Matt and Jasmine at the end, and he's like, this is when I don't know if she's doing this for the cameras or he's like, it's hot in here. What is it, 80 degrees? And she goes, that's how I like it. Why are you always complaining? And I think this is what she's used to doing with Gino. And he kind of takes it. And Jasmine tells him that Gino changed the locks the last time she was over there. And did you notice him going, well, why'd you go over to his house? And I was like, oh, is that some jealousy?
Or something.
And that's when Matt says he doesn't want to give you anything in life. And that's when she goes, but I love him. And she's like, have you ever loved anyone? And he goes, I don't know.
I don't know. And I went, that actually was the biggest red flag, that someone's 37 years old and they never know if they've loved someone.
Well, it's not that doesn't know. It's not that he hasn't. It's that he doesn't know. I think that's the trick.
I'm not liking this guy.
And so Gino refuses to talk to her. She also says, I brought in Matt to satisfy my needs. And this whole situation was temporary. And she basically says, I'm confused because I miss Gino. And she's like, the open marriage ruined everything. The interesting thing here is the reason why she misses Gino is there was a comfort there.
Like I said, she could be herself with Gino.
Yes.
There was
a comfort there, and she knew he was weird like she was, because Jasmine has always felt like an absolute freak.
And Matt always wants to be cool guy.
Yeah. And she always knew that there was going to be someone weirder than her.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, y'all, when we met them, you cannot mistake. Both of us were so shocked because the way they looked at one another when each of them were talking, they felt something for each other.
Yeah. Yeah. They seemed very believably in love.
Yeah. Everyone who saw them at the live show in Detroit. And so I think he was just such a good faker at it because I think she was really in love with him. I really believe that.
I do too.
Yeah. I think that's the show.
I think that's it. It better
Y'all,
be.
My parents have turned off every light in the house and they have went to bed. It looks like the never, or what is it? The nothing from the never ending story has taken over my entire house. I'm the only thing being
11
lit
o'clock
right
there.
now.
That's late for them.
They went to bed about 30 minutes ago, but they didn't need to turn off every light. That was passive aggressive and they knew it. I'm not going to make it here very long.
I think it's going to be a great vacation for you. I think you're going to do well.
This is day 2 and
yeah, I wish you the best, Poodle. I wish you the best.
Y'all pray for me. I'm literally, my therapist and I talked before, and we have the best thing you can do when you're in a situation like this is what I found is to have empathy for your parents for doing this. And also to create a really, really strong boundary to what you will actually talk about. And it happened tonight at dinner when they mentioned something about politics, and I went, we're not going to discuss that. And they kind of looked at me and I went, nope. And they couldn't force it. And they're like, well, you can say this. I said, I'm not going to discuss it in the calmest possible way. So remember, you can have empathy and create strong boundaries. And that's what I'm white knuckling this week. I
know.
Does your mother respond to boundaries?
We just started setting them, so we'll see. Probably not. The answer to that's probably not.
Because you never have.
Yeah.
I've set some. My mother more than my father rejects all boundaries, but I've really been setting them pretty heavy.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, everybody. That is, we did it. That is our first little
Happily
series
Ever After.
on the YouTube. Thank you. Thank you all again for subscribing. Thank you for listening and for watching. I love saying that because I love to be
Thanks
watched.
for watching.
Ooh, you're watching me
ooh.
right now. Ooh, are you looking at my creamy shoulders?
You don't get to have that. Christina, edit that out. That's not part of our brand. I swear. Oh, I'll do it too. Look at that. Ooh. I'll show you my nipple too. If this shirt wasn't too small.
No, we don't need to see nips.
Ooh,
Christina will take that out. All right, everybody. That is a show.
Don't ever. Don't ever tempt me to show skin on the camera.
Oh,
God, I was a sex worker in a previous life.
Previous? That's the show, everybody. You can leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
We are such faggots.
We are. Leave a review on Spotify. We appreciate that as well. If you don't want to hear the show if you don't want to hear the advertisements, you can go to patreon.com/realitygays, or you can find us on Supercast. That is realitygays.supercast.com, or you can click on Apple subscriptions. That $8 tier is right there. You can do a yearly subscription for a discount even, and you'll get all of our content, or all of our audio content.
All of our audio content, yes.
Commercial free for your pleasure. All right, everybody. We will see you next week. Reminding you, we will not be covering Happily Ever After next week because we will be on vacation. But you will get to hear 90 Day UK. And when we come back 2 weeks from now,
we'll do a little
recap of what we missed. So you can expect
I'm sure it will be invaluable.
So that'll be the same for Happily Ever After and for
Hunt for Love.
Yeah, we will get to it when we come back.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we will see you next week. Until then, we call these people lonely hearts because aren't we all just lonely hearts looking for love in all the wrong places?
Yes. And remember, instead of saying, Fran, his wife's a loser, just say, no, you can say she's really not a winner.
Not a winner.
Semantics is everything.
Boy.
Call us.